Watch the Narcissist in action. Text Hoovers Part 2. Pity Plays and Promised Change. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I'm providing you with unrivaled analysis of real examples of the narcissist in action so that you can increase your understanding and knowledge. If you have not already watched the Narcissist in Action video analysis, I'd encourage you to do so, and also to have watched part 1 of the text hoovers. What you're witnessing are the text hoovers of a lower mid-range narcissist to assert control over his intimate partner primary source. In part 1, we saw the rudimentary method by which this is done, utilizing triangulation, the use of threat, insult, belittlement, invalidation, false accusations. We saw how the narcissist has repeatedly hoovered in order to try and assert control, but the victim has often failed to respond. That has caused repeated minor wounding. His narcissism has not caused him to give up with the texting, but his ignited fury is palpable in the content of the text as he repeatedly tries to bring her under control. The individual is a lower mid-range narcissist, which means that he is an amalgam of both lesser and mid-range. This means that he has a relatively low threshold on his ignited fury, but it is slightly better than that of lesser narcissists. It means that he can be verbally violent, potentially physically violent, although less likely to do so compared to, say, a middle lesser or a lower lesser. It means that his manipulations are relatively rudimentary, and the way that he sees himself in the world is of a hard-done-to individual who tries to do his best for other people, but is also somebody that should be taken seriously and not messed with. In a way, a bit of a rough diamond. The individual has an intermittent facade which flickers on and off with regard to third parties. Remember, when the narcissist is dealing with the intimate partner primary source, there is no facade management unless there are other people there. Therefore, if it's just the narcissist and the IPPS in the room, facade management isn't applicable. If it's just the narcissist and the victim in a text message exchange, there's no facade management evident. Being an amalgam of the two types of narcissist means that you actually see quite a range of manipulations. Forthright, blunt, brash, but then shifting to more mid-range narcissists, in mid-range manipulations rather, in the sense of the utilization, for instance, of pity play. And we're going to see some of that now with more of the text messages. Here we go. The narcissist engages in a string of texts. Zoe won't eat any food and won't stop crying. I'm getting fucking pissed. I'm sick of watching crying fucking babies all goddamn day while you work. Triangulation with the child, but there's a pity play, which is, I'm fed up of having to deal with this child and you're the one at work. Why am I on babysitting duties? This isn't fair. It's an aggressive form of pity play because whilst he's complaining about his circumstances, he's also doing in an unpleasant fashion. This is getting very old for me. I'm not happy in this life, pity play, relationship, house, family, everything. I'm mad and angry. I want full-time job and make good money because you're pure evil. This is a narcissist that's feeling most sorry for himself, so hard done to as he has to look after his child whilst his partner goes out and works. And therefore, in order to assert control over her, because the fact that she's working threatens his sense of control, he has to text Hoover in this manner, doling out the pity play to try and cause her to feel sympathetic for him. They're also to note that he's not happy about it, it's not fair, and you should do something about this. Another set of pity plays. And I can do anything of that because of you and the babies. I think that he means I can't do any of that. My life is ruined and stolen from me. Oh, poor lamb. Now I'm stuck with all this bullshit my entire life. Pity play. I'm sick not having any food. pity play. He's a grown man. Why doesn't he get off his peasy ass and go and buy some? It's been like 3 years and we always go broke and have no food at least 1 week every month. Well, perhaps if you regulated your finances in a more appropriate manner and got some work, it wouldn't be the case. I'm sick being poor. Pity play. You're poor as shit. Insult. You have crazy outstanding debt. Therefore, it's your fault that I don't have any money, even though, of course, this individual is the one that's out working, and he's not. A set of pity plays designed to elicit control by aiming at getting the victim to respond to him. They're not particularly sophisticated pity plays, which are commensurate with the status of a lower mid-range narcissist. They're not particularly tugging on the heartstrings. One could easily dismiss them. They're rudimentary and blunt, but they're pity plays nevertheless. The pity party continues. Ruined my life. I wish I never met you, pity play, or got you pregnant. Again, he can't spell, showing his low cognitive function. I hate you. Ignited fury. Just commit suicide. Lack of emotional empathy. Give me Zoe. Demand. And leave this world. My mum said if you attack me one more time, she's calling child services and I'll show them the knife video. This, of course, is evidence of triangulation and use of threat. And they will take Zoe, use of threat. I don't want that, but I'd rather have them have my daughter than you, because you're pure evil. Combination of pity plays and also the issuing of threat, along with some triangulation. Again, all done for the purposes of assertion of control. It would appear that at the point that the individual accessed this, as you can see, they were all unread, and you can see the timing of them. They're in the early hours of the morning. They're being sent in order to provoke, in order to get that control, although he doesn't realise that. That is what they're designed to do, and to elicit a response by way of fuel. A further set of messages, text hoovers designed to draw that control and fuel. All they do here every night is party till midnight, smoking and drinking, complaining, whining, pity play. I hope my mum, Todd both die next year. I want them both dead. I hope they can be sick with cancer or something for their lifestyles. Again, misspelt. You put me here. No sleep, no peace. Blame shifting, pity play. The victim does respond. That's awful. You know you would be super sad and angry if your mum died. Showing her emotional empathy for him. I have no one now. Pity play. PSH hell. No, I would, thank God. A reminder from her, by way of challenge fuel, you did that to yourself. Thus, showing his inherent nastiness with the comments that he's making about his mum and Todd. I don't know who that is, perhaps a stepfather or a brother. And again, doling out the pity plays to try and elicit sympathy from the victim. It does work because it causes her to respond by saying that's awful and you'd be super sad and angry. So she provides him with some fuel, and her response demonstrates that she's under control, albeit momentarily. After repeated hoovers utilising pity plays, albeit not particularly convincing ones, and very heavy on the victim mentality, we now see a shift in the form of manipulation. Again, it's unclear as to where this fits in with the other ones in terms of chronology. I don't think that they all follow one another. I think they're on separate days. Here, the narcissist hoovers with, let me lay with you too. Please, I will change. Promise change. Just help me. I'll do whatever you want. Please. This is again more of the mid-range behaviour. The usual aggression that has been exhibited hasn't been shown on this occasion, and instead his narcissism has taken him into an alternative tack, which is promised change, and that he would do whatever the victim wants. This often causes the victim to be drawn back in, because it seems like the narcissist is recognising that they've done something wrong and that there has to be some kind of change. It is only temporary, and it is not any genuine admission. Here it doesn't work, because as you will see, the victim responds, I want you to get the hell out of my life. You can still see Zoe, but you and I will never be again. It's likely at this juncture that the victim has put her foot down and has stated that the relationship is over. And therefore, his narcissism has decided that an aggressive approach isn't going to work, and instead goes for this softer approach of promise change. But those series of hoovers doesn't meet with success. The theme of promise change continues. I won't leave on my days off. I'll offer to spend them with you and Zoe. I'll buy you new doors and the windows. I'll clean as best as I can and do the dishes. I'll cut your grass and shovel for you. This is promised change and promised gain. I could get a second part of full-time job. I want to take it, and they will be flexible and let me work in mornings, day I have off on target. Again, the usual somewhat incoherent response from him, but you'll see a different approach adopted by his narcissism, demonstrating more of the mid-range aspect of his narcissism, where he offers the gain. Look at all of these things I'll do for you. We don't know what the victim's response is to this, save that she hasn't responded, which of course results in more minor wounding for him. We now see a different aspect through the text hoovering of the mid-range behaviours, which is false contrition. In effect, a mea culpa is being issued by the narcissist. I always want you. Note the use of always. Narcissists invariably use always and never as part of the black and white thinking. I won't be leaving or going on any dates. Promise change. I cheated, I lied and lied again. False contrition. I know you won't take me back. Pity play. It's like someone else is controlling me. Blame shifting. Mike's fine. It is commonly the case that a mid-range narcissist will allude to it being as if something else is controlling them, or it's their demons, or it's their brain chemistry. Victims often think that that is some form of insight by the narcissist, that they know that there's something wrong with them. It isn't. It's a very subtle form of blame shifting, where the narcissism makes it look like they have an awareness of that something wrong with them, but in actual fact, they're splitting the narcissist into two. There's the part of the narcissist which is being controlled by somebody else, and that's not the actual narcissist's fault. The blame is transferred to the split part to say, that's the problem, not me. That over there is the problem. That over there is controlling me. Therefore, I'm not at fault. Thus, this false contrition that's being issued, which to an unassuming victim might seem genuine, of course is not. It's just another form of manipulation that's been utilized by the narcissist. Thus, we see a shift in the way that this narcissist has been text hoovering. There's still a level of aggression there, commensurate with being a lower mid-ranger, but not as great as was seen in the first video. And there's been this movement towards pity plays, promised change, promised gain, and false contrition. We're then going to see a different aspect again in part 3 in relation to how this particular narcissist manipulates. Join me there.